Humanity has always searched the skies for a way out, a lifeboat, a second chance, a world to call home when our own Earth can no longer sustain life. We dream of a sanctuary hidden somewhere in the darkness, a place waiting silently for the day we might need it. And so, naturally, our gaze settles on the nearest shore in the ocean of stars, the Alpha Centauri system. 4 light-years away, a distance that feels close in cosmic terms, almost a stone's throw on the galactic map, but in reality, it is a chasm, a void of unimaginable scale, stretching across space and time, one that our fragile bodies cannot traverse. The brightest lights often blind us to the truth. Alpha Centauri's twin stars shine brilliantly, dazzling us with their twin fires, promising life and warmth. But hidden in their shadow drifts a smaller, dimmer star, Proxima Centauri, barely larger than Jupiter, a red dwarf, burning quietly, persistently, almost invisible against the black backdrop of the universe. And orbiting this unassuming star is Proxima b, a rocky planet roughly the size of Earth, positioned just within the so-called habitable zone, where liquid water could theoretically exist. A place that on paper seems like hope incarnate, a refuge waiting for the human race to claim it. But appearances are a cruel trick. The closer you get, the harder the truth hits. Proxima b is no Eden. It is a world trapped in extremity, a planet forced into orbit so tight that a single year flashes by in only 11 days. Gravity here distorts the landscape, twisting the planet into strange rhythms. Its star may promise warmth, but that warmth comes at a cost. The closer you orbit a red dwarf, the more you're exposed to tidal forces, radiation, and cosmic instability. Traveling to this distant world is an odyssey beyond imagination. At the speed of our fastest spacecraft, it would take over 70,000 years just to cross the distance. Imagine drifting through the void, light years of darkness stretching in all directions. Imagine watching familiar constellations warp and fade behind you, the sun shrinking into a pale memory, replaced by the faint glow of a distant, indifferent star. It is a journey that would stretch the human mind as much as the body. Proxima Centauri itself is a master of patience. Red dwarfs burn their nuclear fuel agonizingly slowly, lasting trillions of years, far longer than our sun, far longer than humanity itself. Long after Earth is gone, after the sun swells and dies, Proxima will persist, glowing faintly in a universe grown cold and silent. But that endurance comes at a price. For a planet to exist in its habitable zone, it must orbit perilously close to the star, locked in a rhythm that bends days, years, and even the very physics of its world. Step onto the surface of Proxima b, and the dream of a second Earth shatters. The illusions of safety, of familiarity, are replaced by a harsh, unrelenting reality. Proximity does not equal refuge. The planet is a trap, a reminder that the universe is indifferent to our needs. Its winds, its radiation, its relentless gravity, all of it conspires against any notion of comfort. And yet, we continue to dream. Even knowing the danger, even knowing that distance and darkness conspire against us, humanity cannot stop looking up. We imagine ourselves stepping into the void, pushing through barriers that no flesh and blood has ever endured, reaching for worlds that may never be home.
You step onto a world that has been torn in two, its surface rent by the unyielding pull of its nearby star. Here, nothing turns freely. One side of the planet is eternally shackled to the blaze of its sun. The other is doomed to stare endlessly into the void. Time itself seems to fracture. On the day side, the sky is dominated by a colossal, blood-red sun, hanging motionless, unblinking, scarred with grotesque dark blotches that crawl like living parasites. The heat is relentless. There are no mornings, no evenings, no cycles to mark the passage of time, only a blazing, unchanging inferno. The ground beneath your feet is baked to a lifeless crust. Oceans long vanished into the void, leaving nothing but dust and ash. Venture toward the night, and the world flips into an alien nightmare. Darkness smothers the land, and cold bites deeper than anything imaginable. Hundreds of degrees below zero, so brutal that the very air crystallizes and collapses, blanketing the landscape in a frozen, toxic snow. Silence reigns, thick and suffocating, broken only by the groan of ice under its own weight. It is a tomb of frozen eternity. Between these two horrors lies a fragile, narrow line, the Terminator. Here, perpetual dusk holds the sun forever on the horizon, stretching shadows like monstrous fingers over jagged rock. For a moment, it seems a haven, a twilight promise of life. But it is a cruel illusion. The searing heat of the dayside collides violently with the crushing cold of night, whipping up supersonic winds that scream across the planet, relentless and unforgiving. The storms are eternal, deafening and merciless. And yet, the storms are the smallest terror. Proxima Centauri is volatile beyond reckoning. Unlike our relatively gentle sun, this red dwarf seethes with unpredictable fury. There are no safe distances here, no magnetic shields to save a world. Every moment is at the mercy of a star prone to fits of cosmic rage, a tempest that could incinerate or freeze the planet in an instant. This is not a world of life. This is a world of extremes, a world where the boundary between burning and freezing, between survival and annihilation, is razor thin and utterly unforgiving. You stand bathed in the blood-red glow of twilight, and for a fleeting moment, the world seems frozen in eerie calm. Then, without warning, the star's magnetic fields rupture in a violent snap. A flare ignites a cosmic explosion hundreds of times more powerful than anything our sun has ever dared.
There is nowhere to hide. The sky blazes from crimson to blinding white in a heartbeat. Waves of ultraviolet and X-ray radiation slam into the planet with merciless precision, an invisible inferno that sterilizes everything in its path. The atmosphere itself is torn away, shredded and cast into the void, leaving the surface exposed to pure, unrelenting energy. Rocks glow, molten and screaming under the bombardment. Any hope of life, any fragile molecule that clung to existence is annihilated on a subatomic level. This is no sanctuary. This is a slaughterhouse carved into the bones of a world that was never meant to survive. We dream of Proxima b as a distant refuge, a shore in the cosmic ocean where humanity might continue. But the universe does not bend for us. It is indifferent, relentless, and cruel. Proxima Centauri is a stark, merciless reminder of our fragility. In the vastness of space, our solar system is a rare golden sanctuary, orbiting a quiet, gentle star. Beyond its borders lies chaos, fire, ice, and radiation worlds that will not pause for our survival. The closest habitable world is not a haven, it is a mirage, a deadly paradox of eternal fire, frozen night, and storms that never end. We are, for now, alone in the darkness, surrounded by the indifferent void. And yet, the story does not end here. Humanity's curiosity, courage, and ingenuity have always driven us to the stars. The universe is vast, but our journey is just beginning. Explore, question, and imagine, because the next frontier is waiting, and it will not wait for long. Join the quest for the unknown.